So this is actually going to be my second update for Pan That Palette. It is raining outside. You're probably going to hear the rain. I do apologize about that. I can't do anything about it, but I feel like I've done a pretty good job this past month. I started my Pan That Palette just a little bit later. I was 1 month behind than everybody else that started this in January, so I started my intro February 1st. So I've only been working on this palette for 2 months now, but I did pick out the Lorac Pro 2 at the beginning of the year to work on, trying to finish as many of the shadows out of here as I possibly can, and I'm gonna go ahead and insert last month's progress right now. And this is what my palette looks like after using it for 1 month. And this is where I'm at after using this palette for 2 months. If you look on here, I have hit quite a bit of pan since the last update. I had some major dips going on in this palette, so a lot of them it really didn't take much effort, and I had pan. So just starting at the top, I did make a lot more progress on buff up here. I usually use this shade, either buff or the Wet n Wild Brulee eyeshadow, just to set my MAC Painterly paint pot, so there's a lot more pan in buff. I did finally hit pan on light brown. I was really close at the last update because the dip was pretty significant. Cool gray, I haven't hit pan on that one yet, but I'll probably have pan on that one by next time. And if you look just right at the shade Nectar in the right way, you can see just the tiniest little fleck of pan showing in that shadow there. I did include this palette in my all the makeup that I wanted to hit pan on, so you probably got a little sneak peek of this in that video if you saw it. If not, I'll link it up in the cards up there. I also made a little bit more of a dip in plum. I did use navy a little bit this past month. Charcoal and black, I'll usually just toss a little tiny bit just right at the outer corner to deepen up some of the eye looks that I use, but I do use black on its own as a liner. I think I even took some photos last time that I was using it as a liner because it's so jet black, but it's a really soft jet black sort of matte shade, so it'll just soften up the liner look just a tiny bit. I feel like it just looks a little bit softer if I don't want something so harsh and contrasting. Now down here on the bottom row, I do have a lot more pan. I have 4 shadows here that have pan. One of them already had pan before, but I did hit pan on Snow right here, and I use this one like all over the lid, and then I'll go over it with something else. I can layer rosé over the top of it just to kind of tone it down and make it look more like beige right here. I'll probably have pan on that one by the next time. I've been trying not to use it. I've been trying to use Snow a lot more than beige. That's what that one's called? Yeah, beige. Rosé is a little bit bigger. I've been trying not to use that one as much as I could. I could use that one up in probably the next month if I just used it on a daily basis for maybe 2 weeks. Mocha, I did hit pan in that one. I just went straight down into it just right at that top corner there, so it was just right on the verge of hitting pan. Same with Chrome, it was right on the verge of hitting pan last time. It did have a nice dip forming in that area. Silver, it's actually easier to wear silver for me than it is to wear Snow on its own and have it look suitable. I do feel like I have a neutral to cool undertone with my skin, but silvers and golds, just, they're very difficult for me to wear without feeling like I look a little bit sickly. I feel like I was able to pull off kind of this goldy champagne sort of color on my lid today, but I generally, for the most part, don't reach for a gold, hardly ever. I did use a little bit of jade and cocoa. Cocoa almost has like this hard pen layer on the top, and once I like break through that, then I feel like it's soft underneath. And with navy, I feel like that's a little bit of the case, but I just feel like navy has to have some kind of dye or pigment or something in it because it is just so rough. I'm really only focusing on navy to maybe try and hit pan on that before the end of the year. So far, I think my goals for this palette are just hit pan on navy and then finish everything else off. Initially, I think I just wanted to hit pan on these deeper shades over here, but I'll probably just try and finish those off. They're very soft and they're easy to work through so far. And I have panned the original Lorac Pro palette. It was fine. I got through that entire palette. So far, I really feel like this is an okay palette to pan. Between the original Lorac Pro and this one, I would say the original one, you get way more looks out of that one. This one, I feel like I have to pull in other items to create looks. I mean, I can create looks on its own from this palette alone, but I prefer to pull in other items. Like I did pull in a little bit of this plum today for my outer corner and a tiny little bit of nectar, but I mostly pulled shadows from another palette. So anyway, this is where I'm at so far in the Lorac Pro 2. Definitely let me know if you guys are panning this palette, how you're doing, if you're having any trouble with certain shadows. But anyway, that was all I wanted to say, I think. So I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.